Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. Vikings, Season 5, Episode 12, Murder Most Foul. And this was a Bishop-centric episode. There was a lot of over-the-top acting in this episode. There was a lot of stuff that didn't quite make sense. I'll put this all together. I am alone as in the co-hosting situation, as it looks like Joe Dirtylocks will not be joining us this evening. Hopefully he'll be with us sometime this week. I'm also playing a little bit injured right now, so if I sound a little bit weird, I apologize. Somewhere in between the last time I talked to you guys and this, I bit the crap out of my tongue, and someone didn't want me to talk about this episode. They're like, let's shut him up, because I don't think he's going to love this. But who gives a shit what I thought about it? I thought this was a pretty good episode of Vikings. This wasn't my favorite of Season 5. This would probably go towards the bottom half of the list. It was world building in certain ways, but it seemed a little bit to lean a little bit too much on the romance aspect, and we're getting into a few too many romance pairings, and things are a little bit too simple in some ways. And, well, there was a guy, and Bernie said this in the live chat, there was a guy following the bishop on foot. He caught up to the horse, and he was spying on him to see them making out. But I must admit, the end of the episode when the bishop went there and he just stabbed the shit out of that guy, I laughed a lot in that scene. And John Rhys Meyers, is that his name? I'm not familiar with most of his work. I know a couple people know him from the show Tudors and a couple of other shows that he's popped up on. I don't know him from many things. He was really eating up scenery tonight. Then we get the whole Bjorn situation with Bjorn and the princess, and I didn't know it was this easy. I like you. You come with me. I didn't know life was that easy. I don't want to shit on this episode because I had fun with it. I smiled along the way. But a lot of it was, I don't know, I didn't connect with this episode the way I connected with last week's episode, but we'll break it down. We'll get into all of this, and maybe I'll feel differently. But who gives a crap? You're like, I don't give a crap what you think, asshole. Tell me about the episode. I enjoyed Ivar again, jumping around, and King Fine here, and some of the Kattegat stuff. But overall, like I said, this was not one of my favorite Vikings episodes. It seemed a little bit all over the place. The bishop, it seems like he only has one level. He only knows how to go like this all the time. And I know he's not a bishop anymore. Heahmund. There's not a lot of subtlety to his performance. And it doesn't always hurt scenes, but when the show is this reliant on him in an episode like this, it grated on me a little bit. A couple people said something in the comments about last week. I didn't really get to me last week, but this episode, he was loving it. He was loving it. Oh, shit. He heard the title of this episode, Murder Most Foul, and he was Shakespearean up the shit of that. I generally did like Alfred in this episode. I thought his stuff was good, how he's playing the Northmen and his angle through it all. I kind of like that. So let's go in the live motherfucking chat. John Rhys Meyers, thank you, Lady Dreamfire. Hey, Phil, came for you, not the bad writing on this show. Callie, thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. And I'm not alone, of course. I have with me the live motherfucking chat. How are you guys doing tonight? Whoa, the motherfucking chat. Let's open this shit up. Bernie says she couldn't resist Bjorn's rapey glare. K. Rich says Bjorn teared off a piece. Bernie says dude spying with his bad eye. Bro caught them on foot on a horse. No depth perception. Come on, dudes. We got Travis in there. We got Lady Dreamfire. Hello, the live motherfucking chat. Callie. He was Elvis a long time ago. I really liked it. Travis really liked this episode. Sexual tension is real. I love this episode, Phil the Issues Guy. Glass Joe, very real. Bjorn is going to get himself, if some of that's for sure. Sorry, glass-eyed people. Hey, Bernie, being a virgin was still a turn-on back then, lore. So I'm psyched that you guys enjoyed this episode. It's going to be fun to talk about. And for good or for bad, I wouldn't say, again, that this was a bad episode of Vikings in any way, shape, or form. It's just I didn't love it quite as much as I loved last week's episode, but it's important. It's one of these episodes that builds the action that's going on around, and it doesn't need to be all raids and craziness all the time. I lost a little bit in some of the subtle aspects of the bishop's performance, but the highlight points where it was all hit was pretty good, and I like I like Alfred. I think he's good casting for that kid, and I like his take and how he's using them for his own advantage. And I generally like some of the stuff that was going on. I like the fake out for Ivar's death in the episode. I thought that was done pretty well too. We're doing great. Oh, we got King McKay in the live motherfucking chat. Ivar is king. Icy Fury says it was a messy episode. Bernie says being a virgin was still a turn on there. I love. We got King McKay in the live motherfucking chat. Make sure you go and check out King McKay's coverage of this season. Callie says, Ivar is not the same character from previous seasons. A total different person. Hirst rushed a love angle to compete with Game of Thrones Danny and Jon angle. King Alfred is the only decent person. I like his performance a lot. I like what he's bringing to the character. And again, I think this episode is going to rely heavily, at least in my opinion, on how much you are feeling Heahmund's performance. If you really like him, because I feel like a lot of this episode was dependent on him. This was, here you go, this is your episode, you're the star. Other stuff happened and other important stuff happened in this episode, but I come out of this episode thinking about his performance first. And I think some of the other unfortunately, his storyline was probably my least favorite part of the episode. I generally did like the stuff we got in Kattegat and all of that forming around the impending doom and then how it was all handled with Marguerite. As horrible as that sounds, I loved that conclusion. I thought that was done really well, and to see her in that scene, that was horrifying, and watching her whole thing and what she was saying to Hitzak made a lot of sense on some level. Like when she started verbalizing, no, Ubbe's a fucking idiot. He fucking fucked me over with that bitch and that blah, blah, blah. When she starts going into that felt really fucking real. And then when she came in and she talked to Hitzak and then he ratted her out, that reminded me of something out of The Sopranos with Adriana. Wait, shit, spoiler alert for The Sopranos. No, Sopranos has been out too long to spoiler alert. But whatever that means, I was vague enough. It just reminded me of a moment where it was not a surprise, but I like how that was handled. I thought that was done pretty well. I like Fine Hair kind of smirking all of this and all finding out that Ivar the Boneless, where that nickname came from, Bonerless. I digged all that. I guess it's the bishop I'm not digging. I know he's not the bishop. I guess it's that aspect of the episode. Now that I'm starting to think about it a little bit more. I knew King Alfred would be my favorite character. Oh, King McKay, yeah. King Alfred's he's really great. The actor's hitting the ground running, killing it in this role. I knew King Alfred. Lady Dreamfire says, but how stupid is Ivar in the end that he can get it? Oh, yes. And then we get Ivar with this whole situation, thinking he can't get it up, but he's thinking he's getting her pregnant. Did she really play him that well, or is his ego so big that he thinks he's a god? Holy shit, we got Nancy T with the $20 super chat donation. Nancy T, I don't know if you can see. Wait, Nancy T, I don't know if you can see. I got your wonderful blanket on display in the back there. Nancy T, thank you so much for the super chat donation. Let me zip over here to this motherfucking wheel and spin the wheel for you. Spin the wheel. Ah! Run back. Whoa. Here we go. I'm back. I gotta get the wheel closer. Oh, thank you, Nancy, for the housewarming. Ooh, you get some drum fun. I'm not close to drums right now, and it's I haven't quite sized up the sound issues with the drums, so Nancy T, I owe you one drum solo. Make sure you remind me about that. And I'll give you another spin of the wheel, or another spin is I'll make sure I take a big drink of my way too high alcohol beer. So Apple Stand, they're going to ruin Freitas as usual. All women are using men to rise for power, says Callie. Lady Dreamfire says, yes, crazy white wig on Lagertha and no wrinkles on her face. Does not go with the wig. He thinks he's a god. I hate Ivar, says Bernie. It was the audience that killed her at the end of the day. Apple Stand, John Rhys-Meyer is an overactor. He's too much. He annoys me in everything. Again, I haven't seen him in anything else. And I don't know if it's a credit to the people that mentioned it before or just this episode he got more stuff to do, but this was the first episode where his performance kind of irked me the wrong way, and I'm sure I irk a lot of people the wrong way. Someone heard me say that and said, well, you irk me the wrong way, fucking dick cheese. And I accept that, I accept that. Dude, that's like your opinion, man. I mean, some actors, some things tweak you the wrong way. sometimes someone says something and it clicks something in your head, and I want to give someone credit in the comments. It's like, his voice irritates me. But it hadn't bothered me too much until this episode. But this episode, like when he's talking about the bishop stuff, the way he is eliciting feeling important stuff is he's basically going like, you see him in the corner it's like he's normal. Yeah, I'm normal. I'm acting. Yes, Alfred. Screaming. And then when they start talking about, someone else was made bishop, he's like, he's reminding me of like a butler or something. Just go, oh sir, like, what are you doing? I've lost you. But there was just something real over the top about it, and it kind of took me out of the episode for a second. I guess that's code for I didn't like it or whatever, but it took me out of the moment. He seemed to be, which I'm sure he'd be really awesome on stage. And this isn't a discredit to stage actors. I mean, I'm more of a stage actor when it comes to acting. I'm more of a stage actor than I am a on-screen actor, because I'm big and I'm weird and I'm loud. But like, he feels like I'd like to be in a small theater. Like, you wouldn't need to use a microphone on him, and he'd be really loud and project awesome. And again, he heard the title of Murder Most Foul, and he's like, so we're interpreting this in a Shakespearean form, aren't we? Anyways, Nancy T, great to see you. Thank you again for that super chat donation. Yes, but I also think he's a sexy bastard, Jonathan. No doubt on that. Blue Steel, yes, Lagertha didn't go into shock. She transformed into Daenerys. Tan skin, silver, long hair, looking fine. JRM got a Woody Allen movie as a young actor, and it went to his head. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. Thank you, Bernie. And I love when Bernie and I are on the same page. It's always fun. Do you think Ivar knows she's lying about his child? Very interesting question, Brian Dodd. I don't know. Is being willfully ignorant? I'm trying to think of times where I've believed lies or chose to believe lies, but I'm like an asshole. I'm an honorary asshole. I'm like, what's that really mean? In this situation, yes, because I think Ivar's an idiot. I think Ivar has some intelligence when it comes to tactics, and he's very good at tactics. I don't mean that to devalue them. He's extremely good at tactics. When it comes to human interactions, he is completely helpless to people dealing with his emotions. He came from a situation just with his mother, with that whole thing, and being raised the way he was, and his whole perspective. It's hard for him to even think about trusting someone. But if someone plays the angles right and can get past that barrier, he's a gooey mess. So I think we're supposed to believe she's playing him, and he is buying it. No one's talking. That's the one thing I don't buy in all of that. Isn't that Ivar would buy it? It's that he has a brute squad. I mean, maybe some of them are afraid to tell him because they're like, I'm gonna kill you if we're the one that tells him that she's bumping around. I mean, you're telling me that guy's not going around and bragging to people that, hey, the Queen Ivar's wife just jumped me. I mean, I don't know. Vikings talk. Can't stay. Oh, it's Mr. T's birthday. Happy fucking birthday to Mr. T. Thank you again, Nancy T, for that super chat donation. Holy shit, Callie with the $15 super chat donation. The bad writing has me cackling like a Disney witch. I want King Alfred to kill them all. And then let's get into Leif Erikson. Kill them all. Kill this whole cast. But no, I hear you, Callie. I wouldn't go as far as you, but there are moments in this episode where I don't think the reaction I was supposed to have was to laugh, and I did laugh. I can't help it. In some of those scenes where Heaven's reacting to the bishop, in the scene when he stabs the hell out of the guy, I fucking laughed. I could not help it, and I thought it was filmed well, but the way he was going about it was just comical at times. So do I think he knows that she is lying about it? somewhere inside him maybe, but I think he's going to be willfully ignorant on this one and challenge someone to challenge his ignorance, essentially. Let's see, Callie, really good evening, Reavers. John Reese Myers can do no wrong in my eyes, says Smokahontas. Hey now, great to see Smokahontas in the live chat. His peak sexy was Tudors for sure. Ivar discovered 23andme.com. He plays good period pieces though. Sexy Tudors, yes. Ivar shooting blanks. Ivar is usually cynical. JRM is using his medieval voice. Remember, this is a time for adolescents' passion and nobility from age 10 to 60. I can't wait for Ivar to die, like on Cersei levels. You must have been so excited with that scene tonight, Bernie. And listen, Phil, Ivar was watching his brothers getting laid left and right. He wants some too, even if it's fake. No, and I don't discredit anyone getting some. It's one thing that he's getting some, and I know he wants to choose to believe this, but at a certain point, he's got to realize that what he's getting isn't. I guess maybe no one taught him about the birds and the bees. He still thinks that pregnancy could be a magical thing. I'm not sure what they believed about that. If it's something that's just a magic gift from the gods. So maybe he just truly believes that she was blessed with the gods because he is a god and he was able to just give her a child. And I think he buys it. I think maybe that will be what eventually gets Hitzak killed, is when he's like, dude, you know you can't do it, and then he just throws an axe at his head or something. Yeah, Hitzak, as I See Fury says, Hitzak will tell Ivar. I think so as well. I'm so mean. Ivar was groomed by a papa boar. Yeah, he kind of deserved it, Phil. The bishop is still a scene chewer. He is on and I don't mind scene chewers, but he definitely does, and it's pretty fun. But still, I'm gonna believe that Ivar thinks she got immaculately conceptioned by licking his godlike bloody palm, and then maybe she killed a random hobo pickup. That's a good point, Blue Steel. Blue Steel has that's very easily the way things could have gone. So again, I don't want to be too down on this episode. It was just all over the place at times. There were parts that I really loved a lot. Like, again, everything in Kattegat, all the stuff generally with Ivar, I think is, for me, engaging because, like Bernie, I can kind of feel into it, and I want bad stuff to happen to Ivar too. I want to see him eventually see what brings him down, and see him continuously make stupid mistakes around his humanity, and I like all of that. I also generally liked I was going to say I liked Bjorn in this episode, but what did Bjorn really do in this episode except for just stand around? And he was like, we need something for Bjorn to do, so why don't we have these two fuck? Because Ragnar fucked King Crazy Pants or something. Queen, I don't know. I don't know why they popped that in there. I don't know if that has historical significance there. But it seemed a little bit, we need some more sex and romance type stuff in this episode. So let's put these two together because they're both hot. Yeah. Which I never have any problems with that kind of thing, really. I mean, what am I a cynic? Listen, Phil. don't discredit me. I wanted to see a hot sex, but they didn't even show us the hot sex scene here. They cut away from it. So if we're going to get a scene like that and we don't get the sex part of it, it just comes off as wasted time on screen. But it could have meaning later on. Stop being an asshole, Negative Nancy. Hey, I'm not trying to be a Negative Nancy. Nancy T was here. She gave us a super chat today. Nancy T's awesome. Don't speak that way. Hey, that's not what I'm saying. I know that's not what you're saying. But listen, Phil. Now you're just talking to yourself. Why you go back and forth? Why can't you do this all on the same side of the mic? I don't know. Your voice is much different. Why don't you shut up? Ah! Anyways. Princess Elswith had Bjorn Iron on the side. Dun dun. Oh. Bishop should have went to the king before getting his rocks off. His characterization, I mean, that needed to happen. You know, he needed to sneak off. And again, he had that little spy in the woods that was watching the whole thing. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Sorry, I'm getting lost in the live motherfucking chat. I hope the writing gets better. I will be so pissed. Good point. Trying to logically justify bad writing is a challenge, says Blue Steel. Okay, so let's get into this episode. Let's recap this episode and not waste any more time and get into what happens here. Okay, everybody, here we go. Let's get into the recap of this episode. And I know I'm negative Nelly tonight. I'm gonna change my negative title here from a Nancy to a Nelly in respect for Nancy T. So, and again, thank you to Nancy T and Callie for our super chat donation so far tonight. You guys are freaking awesome. This episode opens up with Lagertha and Bjorn and Ubbe and Torvi and all crew heading into England. There was Alfred the Great gives us some history about what happened and talks about, has the bishop changed? He's brought in Judith. So we talk a lot about how Lagertha hasn't aged and she just looks younger than ever with a wig on. And I think they did some effort last season to make her look a little older. But again, this season, I don't think they're doing it. But Judith hasn't aged either. When they brought the wife for Judith or Alfred's possible wife, when they brought her in, it was amazing to me because she looked the same age as Judith to me. And then they bring in Judith's kid, and he's I don't know, he looks really young to me as well. Killmonger. Phil, just popping in. I've never seen the show. Is it worth watching? Yes, Vikings from the beginning is worth watching. I would definitely recommend it. It's a lot of fun. It's a good watch. Travis Fimmel as Ragnar definitely carries through the early season. So if you're at all interested in the subject matter, I would give it a try. The first season goes by real quick, and you'll know after the first season if it hooks you. Yeah, Judith looks like Alfred's girlfriend. She looks really young. They've done less effort to make her look at all old than they have with Lagertha. At least Lagertha, they're putting on the fake wig. This girl looks young. And I mean, this isn't against her performance. Her performance is great. But she comes off like she's been the same age this whole time. Like, not even aged a minute. Very true, Phil. To all in either they should have replaced the actors or did a better job with makeup. I mean, you have to, right? It's just, especially when you do it with some of the actors and you make them look older with when you've done it with like with Ragnar, or you attempt to do it with Lagertha with the wig and stuff. You can't just pick and choose who you want to age and who you don't want to age. There needs to be some consistency with that. And I know it's kind of like a joke to a certain extent and doesn't really matter, no, but it does for immersion point of view. And if you're traveling through time here, through history, to add at least a little bit of aging, and someone's going to say, they put some gray streaks in her hair. Maybe you just missed it. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. I'm sorry. She looked so young. Show us her ear one more time, just to show something to take a little bit of polish off, because right now she looks younger than when we first met her and better than when we first met her. Judith looks just like she did when she made Alfred, like exactly the same. Look, Phil, no talking about Alfred without Batman. Tim, it's fun every time I say Alfred. I'm like, am I saying the right name? Because all I can think about is Batman right now. They're paying JRM too much. They can't afford makeup. Okay, so the great Alfred gives us some history about what happened and talked about how the bishops changed. He's brought in, Judith says, who has not aged. What's going on? Bishop tells them about Ivar, and Alfred's like, hey, I know Ivar. I played like games with him when we were young. Remember that? Remember that, guys? I can fuck him up. I can outsmart Ivar. Ivar. He's a joke. But why are you bringing Ragnar's loser sons here? Well, and the bishop says, I offered them safe passage. Ubbe does his best Ragnar impression, as he always does. And then Bjorn's really upset that Ubbe's doing all the Ragnar impressions. So Bjorn's like, hey, wait, I'm going to do my Ragnar impression too. In his seat. So Ubbe's standing up doing the stand-up Ragnar impression. And Bjorn's in his seat doing his Ragnar. It's really cool. And I like this scene. I'm having a little fun with it, but I definitely love Ubbe and Bjorn doing their Ragnars because it makes sense to their characters. Where Ivar and Hitzak have a little bit of their more individuality in their personalities, where the two of them, where Ubbe and Bjorn really, really want to and care so much about the legacy of Ragnar in their own ways. So in being that and getting that sort of respect more from Ragnar, Ivar feels like he got it already and it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not saying Ivar doesn't give a crap about that or the other two don't, but it's more like within their selves and their personas, not just on the show, but being immersed in the world, they both want to be Ragnar more than Ivar does, because Ragnar didn't want the power of the king in that way, especially if you watch through Vikings. He developed a hunger for it eventually, but it was more about the progression of his people, whereas Ivar is a warmonger, essentially. He wants power. He wants to be thought of as a god. I don't think Ragnar really gave a crap about that sort of shit to that much of an extent. And he wasn't really a come-with guy like Hitzak is, so. Ivar with his ward paint looks sick. Yeah, I can't wait to see next week. That's been teased a lot, and it looks like next week we're going to get to see him in full-on action. No, not the crappy knockoff Alfred. No Batman, damn it. I do not trust Alfred. He's schooled by his grandpa, and he's going to do something. I think absolutely. Ubbe's acting. Cough, cough. The silver wig will survive the long, harsh winters and will sit on the throne of Kattegat. It'll be interesting if they age Alfred and he loses that Todd Rundgren group. Sorry, I fucked up my tongue, so I can pronounce words even less than usual. I did love it when Torvi said, You've never been a fool for love, have you, Bjorn? And Bjorn gives her that bitch please look. That was great. I generally can't say how much I've been enjoying Torvi the last couple of seasons. She has zero fucks to give, and she tells you like it is, and they do interesting things with her character for the most part. I mean, minus the Arya Brienne scene we got tonight where we're fighting for the people. Let's put on a show. But I love her character, and I love how she takes no shit. And awesome character. Daenerys Targaryen called and said she wants her wig back. Oh my god, that wig does suck. Ragnar did tell Ivar to be ruthless, because I think what Ragnar knew, or what they set up in that last half of season with Ragnar, who wants to be king, it was him understanding what each of his sons does best and wants, and kind of being what each one of them need for him, being empathetic to his son's needs. And Ivar needed him to be like, be ruthless, be what you're best at, because that's what comes natural to you. Killmonger's like, you're my favorite YouTuber. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Phil. Phil, talk about something I know, or I'm gonna fucking hate this video forever. Oh my god. Quickly. Let me talk about something. Oh fuck. Daredevil being canceled still sucks. It still sucks, and it stinks, and it sucks, and it stinks, and all this talk about it isn't making it better. Everyone talking shit about hey, it might come back here, it might come back there. Oh, I don't want to hear about it. No. I don't want to see them just pop up here and there. Let's cancel the last two seasons of that we get a Jessica Jones. Oh no, I do want the Punisher. Can we make it a final season of Jessica Jones and Daredevil? No, sorry. So let's continue back in the live chat. What's Hitzak best at? Wisecracking? Someone said that last week. Is he going to get a storyline besides just being the wisecracker? I thought almost in this episode, but nope. Again, he seems to just be a punchline in a straight man for action to happen off of. Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, Sopranos. Oh, I did talk about Adriana earlier. There was some elements of the final conclusion of minor Sopranos spoilers. In this episode, one character thought that they were confiding in someone that was their friend, similar to what Adriana was doing with Christopher. But ultimately, it ended up that he went to the boss and fucked everything up, and she got whacked because of it. So there you go. That's was something that happened in this episode. There was Syl drove her out to the Pine Barrens, and there was a ultimate conclusion there. And yes, I am spoiling the fuck out of The Sopranos in a Viking stream, somewhat subtly here, but in what is it? Fucking December 5th, 2018. If you haven't watched The Sopranos by now, you're not gonna be watching it, and you'll forget whatever the fuck I'm talking about right now. No, Phil, Daredevil was being gone is great because the story they wanted to tell was told and they're done. Was Hitzak the one who the people who stabbed? Oh, it was one of the people who stabbed Marguerite. I don't think he was there. I got to admit, my television was a little dark at that point, so it was difficult to make out who exactly was there. I think how I read that scene, and I'm sure we'll get a scene between Ivar and Hitzak in the next episode, but how I read that scene was when Marguerite said, "Let's overthrow Ivar, let's kill him. If you kill Ivar, you'll be king because I'll be your queen and everything will be good." That Hitzak is struggling to have any drive in this Viking world and be a Klingon warrior. So his thing was to go to Ivar in that moment and say, "Ivar, you're right. I should handle my business," and she wants to die. Or he didn't even go to Ivar and he just decided to handle the business and kill her and go to Ivar. Well, she was trying to kill you. See how I protect my brother? And I do have balls, but I think what he really enjoys is traveling, and he liked what Bjorn was doing and the adventuring and the seeking out new lands and new understanding, to boldly go where no Viking has gone before. I think that's what we're supposed to think his personality is deep down, but he's pretending because he wants Ivar's respect because he thinks that's the guy that will win and he doesn't want to die. Or I don't know. I have a lot of trouble understanding his character motivation more than anybody else on the show. Well, and more than any of Ivar's brothers, of Ragnar's kids, even the one that Ivar already killed. I understood his motivation more. Mullet Ragnar there. I have a lot of trouble with Hitzak and not just saying his name. I have a lot of trouble with what his motivations are and where his character's going. So I guess that's pretty good because it could definitely surprise me later when they give him an awesome storyline and he ends up doing something cool. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't see this coming, because I legit don't see anything happening but what Marguerite was saying to him. I think everything she was saying was truth. I agree with his decision to get her killed right there inside with his brother, because what's he going to do? He doesn't have his own army. He doesn't have his own people. He's fucked if he goes against Ivar. And he doesn't have a thirst for power in that way. But what she was saying to him is right. Ivar's just going to keep him around and eventually kill him. I don't think Ivar has any illusions of giving a shit that he's his brother. I think he's looking at him as a lackey, and once he becomes too much trouble than good, it's like, fuck you, you're going to die. You're going to die, bitch. Lady Dreamfire says, shout out to Phil and his clean-shaven face. You look cute, Phil. Much. Aw, thank you. Thank you. I cut it all off so I can grow it full, so I can see how gray I actually am. Live from Joe Dirty Locks' mom's basement. That's true. I got kicked out of my house and I'm hiding in Joe Dirty Locks' closet basement, and Joe won't come in and play tonight. How could Hitzak be loyal to his brother who does not respect him? I don't get it, dude. What did Hitzak say when he was drunk? I couldn't make it out. He says, you're an insult to the gods, I believe is what he says. We'll get to that in a second, but I believe what he said was, what you're doing is an insult to the gods. Well, I'm going to pass out. Later on, more from Phil. Tim, great to see you. Thank you for checking on in, buddy. Is the series soon to be wrapping up, or are they trying to do the Walking Dead run so I can binge it? Next season, next 20 episodes will be the last season, I think, that they've said. So there is, there is 20 and change episodes left. Excuse me. Where the fuck is the Floki storyline going? We'll get there. I don't know. I think Ivar sent them. He knew his shit and didn't work, and the other blonde is pregnant. Oh, because and that's what the dream was. That was him being like, okay, I'm not handling this anymore. If Hitzak's not going to handle his business, I'm going to do this stuff. And Bernie says nowhere. Yep. I'm going to get to Floki in a second, because it seems to be repeating themes that seem so neat. Repeating themes that came to them. Just repeating themes that... It seems like just broken record with the Floki thing. It's just repeating after over and over again, and not really progressing anywhere. I hope there's a good conclusion, because he kills it. I love the actor. I love watching him do his thing. But everybody else on that island, I don't give a fuck about. Not even a little bit. I'm sorry. It's horrible to say. And all of them are doing bang-up performances, and I don't want to degrade, people that, like, this has nothing to do with the actors. It's just that within the writing, within the introduction of them, I've struggled to give too much of a shits about them. The only person I care about there is Floki. They all could burn up in a firestorm sent by... Thanos can come down and take all of them away, and I would be perfectly fine with it all. As long as Floki stays. Because he's awesome. And it's almost like they're like, oh, this actor's so good that we need to put him with a bunch of nobodies, because he can bring everybody up to their level. And I don't think in my mind, not because of performances, because they're just not doing enough interesting things in that storyline. It has nothing to do... It's a lot of decent acting performances where people could be introduced and I could enjoy their characters, I think is being squandered there by a lack of any fucking direction there. Did I say Loki? Floki. Hey, Phil in the motherfucking chat. I haven't caught up, but came here to say hello and leave it a like. Great to see you, broke fandom D Saint. Poor Floki should have died gracefully after Ragnar. Next season on Vikings, brother versus brother. Brother tries to get power. Free Floki. I hope they show Floki waking up in Kattegat and saying, oh, I've been asleep for far too long. Anything to get out of the storyline will make me happy. Brother versus brother. Someone getting revenge for Ragnar. Sign me up. And I don't mind, because it seems like Vikings goes on and off with an action half a season, and then more of an introspective half a season. And that's cool. And like I said last week, I generally really liked last week's episode. Maybe that's part of the problem I had with this one, is I was just so high coming off last week that this episode had a couple of points that were... Icy Fury said it the best at the beginning. I could have ended the podcast right there. It's a messy episode. And I'm not saying it's a bad episode. It's a messy episode. There was a lot here, and at times in early Vikings, it was messy too, with going from Wessex and the Viking stuff and back and forth, but it all seemed to tie together. This episode was messy, and it was fun, at times really good, I think. Certain scenes and certain sections were really good, but it didn't have the rug to tie the dude's room together. The carpet pissers came in, they took the rug, or Maude Lebowski, came in and took it. And your special friend, she's not my lady friend, she's my whatever. It's like you're wandering in the middle of conversation. Pissed on the dude's rug. It just didn't have the rug to tie it together for me. It didn't have that one, and I guess because it was supposed to be the bishop. And if you bought into the bishop, I wish I did. I didn't. Usually I've been drinking the Kool-Aid with him. Tonight, for whatever reason, I drank more of he was ate a few too many pieces of scenery for me in this episode. And I would have liked a couple times for him. I've used this comparison before, but it reminds me of certain lead guitar players or soloists that will only like go, and there's no oh my goodness, what a fool. So there's no subtlety. You can't just go crazy all the time. On drums, I could play a drum. I could just do a drum roll the whole time to show, oh, look at me, I can do a drum roll. But if I did that all the time, there'd be no rhythm or feel to it. And I guess with him, it takes away maybe some of these crazy overacting moments would work better if he could bring it down a little bit sometimes. Instead of, even when he's talking to Lagertha romantically, he's like, oh, I love you so much. Santovia Major, great to see you in the live motherfucking chat. Calico, I'm surprised Alfred isn't still beefing with Alfred. Watch Alfred's wife be conniving. You know how his women are all alike. Callie. I love you, Callie. Love you guys in the live motherfucking chat. Alfred's wife is the new Judith, and Alfred's going to get Athelstan by Bjorn. Yeah, okay, Blue Steel just hit on something that I haven't been able to, I was going to say quantify, but there's no numbers here, that I haven't been able to verbalify, that I haven't been able to put into words in this episode. I felt like there was a little bit of the new classy and stuff in this episode. Well, Ragnar got somebody, a couple people pregnant here and there, and people's weren't, and Alfred is Athelstan's kid, so we need to do some stuff with if Alfred has a kid, it might end up being Bjorn's, or it might, and then the brother versus brother, some crazy stuff going on in there. But so Blue Steel, I don't know if you kind of worded that a little bit better than I can sum it up. I'm going to kind of work on my thoughts. Philip, get your thoughts together, young man.
Philip, would you work on your thoughts before you share them with the class?
Yes, Nana.
Okay, Philip. You just turned into Norman Bates, and they're all freaked out.
Listen, they don't hear this part. This is all in my head.
Okay, Philip. Get back to the episode.
So Bjorn and Ubbe do their Ragnar episodes, and Lagertha is a fool for love, and Torvi's like, you're fucked. I hate love. And she fucks with Bjorn. So then we get back to wait, close this. I want to move the chat up a little bit. There we go. Remember the walnuts, Polly walnuts. Oh yeah, Magnus, Crazy Pants, this kid, which Ragnar claims he peed, and then whatever. Ragnar's the daddy. Baby Bjorn's all the craze. I told you last week that Alfred's wife was going to be a hoe, just like his mother. Santovia Major, I love having you in the live motherfucking chat, my friend. And if you're listening to this later, the podcast, or watching the YouTube video later, make sure you subscribe, or that you are subscribed so you can check this out live. We're on right after the episode airs. 10:30 Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday evenings. Some weeks, depending on other shit going on, if I have work, we may be on Thursday afternoons. I have a one of the worst feelings in the world is when you have to burp and you can't burp. And we'll be talking about crazy things like when you have to burp and you can't burp. Oh, I need some Polly walnuts in my life, Killmonger. So yeah, I'm gonna work on throwing some more Soprano stuff in here just to keep you involved.
Philip, make sure you keep Killmonger involved in the class.
Okay, Nana, I will. Why do you think Ivar would kill his brother that's on his side? Bro. Why do I think he'd kill his brother that's on his side? Because you know what? You know why? Because Ivar is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Because Ivar is weirdly, crazily emotional. And if Hitzak questions that Ivar's kid is actually Ivar's kid, he's going to throw an axe at his head and go crazy and do something stupid. And would fuck with him just for fun. Ivar is bloodthirsty. They've set that up from the beginning that not only is he good at tactics, or he cares about killing more than he cares about people. So I think he has him around just to torture him, because he thinks keeping him alive and the torture he's going to put him through by shit-talking him long term. I think he's saving him for a dish for later, essentially. To be like, well, one day you will die. But I could be wrong. They could have brother. There was too many of Ragnar's kids dying. Brother. I already killed Bjorn, and Ubbe's crying.
Oh, Ivar, we gotta stay the way.
Sorry, I think I got a song in there. I gotta get an actual singer to sing it there, but I think I have something there. A song about Ivar's kids. Yeah. Oh, Ivar has his Tony Montana moments. He's gonna He's gonna dive into the cocaine's nose first and just go nuts. Wait till Ivar gets to his Ragnar drug phase. He's gonna be making so many shitty fucking things.
I got to find a way to keep Kattegat together. What's going on in Kattegat?
Okay, sorry guys. Anyways, so back to Alfred toasting the bishop, the Viking killer. You're gonna be you're our secret weapon here, and it's kind of some good vibes there. Then Floki's talking to the gods again. Why am I alive? Phil, you're singing the Viking sagas. I think that would be a good tune to sing the Viking sagas to. And again, I have to say, as always, I appreciate all the people that are joining us live tonight. And because I was talking right there to the people that are watching later, but no, the real people that keep this show fun are the live motherfucking chatters, super chatters, are just the regular chatters, and all the people that pop on in just to say hi, even when they don't necessarily watch the shows we're talking about. So it's always a great time. And if you're new here, definitely say hello if you pop in the chat. We'd love to welcome you to this silly, silly time. So, back to the episode. Enough of this goofiness. Get back to the episode, asshole. So, Floki's talking to the gods again. Why am I alive? What am I joke? Then Floki turns into Joe Pesci for a second. Am I funny? Do I amuse you, gods? Is that why I'm here? I'm here to fucking amuse you? Fucking Spider. Spider, go get your shine box, Spider. And then he shoots him in the foot, and Christopher Moltisanti eventually goes into a cake shop and shoots some other kid in the foot. The Viking saga to the rune of Marvin Gaye, the tune of Marvin Gaye. I think we might be onto something here, Centovia. I think we might be doing it here, Centovia and Lady Dreamfire. Good stuff. But Daddy, I want to be the head of the Shield Maidens. I want it now. Give it to me now, Daddy. Give it to me now. I want to, but Daddy.
Here we go again.
All right, sweetheart, all right. Daddy will get you a golden goose as soon as we get home.
No, I want one of those.
Wonka, how much do you want for the golden goose?
They're not for sale.
Name your price.
She can't have one.
Who says I can't?
The man with a funny hat.
I want one. I want a golden goose. Gooses. Geeses. I want my geese to lay gold eggs for Easter.
It will, sweetheart.
At least 100 a day.
Anything you say.
By the way...
Yes, he does. Sorry, but I needed a second for some technical difficulties. And it's don't ever fuck with Ryan O'Reilly and Oz. So I think you can come up with a song, Phil. I think I can do something with that as well. I gotta remind myself. If someone's watching this later, send me a message. the runes of Marvin Gaye. I like it. I need to, like I said, I need to find a good singer for that. Maybe we'll talk to. I think I have someone in mind. Oh, Joe Pesci's character has to get... Oh, yes, I'm confusing two things. Joe Pesci's character has to get the shine box. Spider is just Christopher Moltisanti, who asks for him to dance and get the drinks, and he shoots him in the foot. Okay, Goodfellas spoilers. I was just watching Willy Wonka the other day. Okay, so then we get lots of angles to switch her up and make you feel crazy, as we see excellent waterfalls, and as he's begging the gods to show themselves. But Daddy, I want to lose my maiden's head. But Daddy. Ah! So, but I gotta compliment Vikings again on some of the visual shots. Those waterfall shot was just sick. I mean, okay, is this why we're doing the Floki stuff? So we can get a... Wait, didn't you used to say Daddy equals Veruca? Yes, I did. I've actually, there's a short video that what's Daenerys really saying on the channel somewhere, which has Danny, which syncs up some Daenerys scenes to that. That's why I have the song on cue for when I start talking about Dany and Game of Thrones stuff sometimes. So wait, I'm sorry, I'm about to get. Just send Phil.
Thousands of people have surrounded your house with picket signs saying, "We love Daenerys Targaryen, you asshole. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you."
Sorry, Danny fans. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is what, and I'm gonna start I have to blast something back to them. Danny fans, this is what I gotta say to all you assholes. Here we go. This is just this.
Dickon, 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 Dickon.
Okay. So, anyways. So lots of angles make you feel crazy about the Floki stuff. Is the Floki stuff just to play with the screen and play with some fun and have some silly shots and play with some great scenery and great moments? Maybe. Okay, if that's the case. Otherwise, I'm just struggling. Like I said, I'm struggling to give a shit too much about it. Anyways, we go to Vikings and prisons, and the guards comes in and takes him to the stairs. Alfred says, if you fight for us, we'll let you go. And then we get a little, if you fight for me first, we'll give you the lands. Well, the lands are ours anyway. Well, if you got to fight for us first, if you want to get the lands, we'll get the lands. We'll fight for you. It kind of goes back and forth. And Lagertha eventually goes, we'll take the deal, whatever the deal is. The bishop is offered up, and Alfred lets them eat in the kitchen and enjoy the whole scene. Egbert loved Ragnar, so here we go. So then Alfred is like, can I trust him to the bishop? And the bishop says you can trust Lagertha. And the bishop he's not the bishop anymore. Heahmund wants to get his bishophood back, but he's got a replacement. And right there, this is the moment. Up until this point, the bishop had not bought. I know he's not a bishop anymore. You guys know who I'm talking about. But it's confusing in this episode because there's an actual bishop. So Heahmund, H-man here. He immediately, once it's talked about that there's a replacement, he starts huffing and puffing. He's like, oh, I'm not dead, so I get my job back. And they're like, we don't know about that. Alfred is like, I wish I could do this. I wish I could throw this guy out on his ass. But, dude, people are talking, and they say you've been hanging out with the pagans too much, and you're another applesauce. And I don't know. And he goes, no, I'm all about Jesus. Come on. Listen, guys, I'm all about the Jesus. And he's like, well, you might have to prove it, as Alfred starts going into his manipulation game. Because someone said it in the chat before, he is trained by one of the best manipulators that we've seen on the show yet. So expect that from him. So we go off, and also having Athelstan's heart. So we go off to dinner time at Kattegat, where Ivar brings in his new girl to dinner. This woman's my wife, Freydis, the new queen, and Finehair doesn't like the thought of all of this. But then they talk about how Ivar can't get it up, and Marguerite laughs and goes, "Aha! Ivar, why do you think they call him the bonerness?" And Ivar notices his friend smiling and mocking at him, but he fakes being happy, and Hitzak was there too. By the way, everybody, Hitzak was there too. Hey, Jeffrey, good to see Jeffrey in the live motherfucking chat. Marguerite says Ivar is boneless. So I just wanted to say that one more time. So the party's over, and Finehair comes up and says, "Be happy to smile all over you guys." And Itzhak says, who's drunk as fuck, says, "You are an insult to the gods." Ivar says, "They love me." And yeah. So then she says, "I want to take you to bed, and I want you." So they work their way down. Freya says, "Listen, he says to her, listen, I can't get an erection." And then she just kind of builds up his ego, and she's like, "The gods chose you, Ivar, and they chose you, so you're gonna make me pregnant one way or another. It's gonna happen. So why don't you just do it?" And then she gets a little, "Love me, and I will have your child." And they talk about some theology bullshit, and they talk about gods and humans and whatever. So then she goes and gets a knife, and she cuts his hand, and she starts sucking on his blood on his hand and shit, like something on an interview with the vampire. She just starts sucking on the blood and trying to get some blood magic going on in here. And she says, "In peace and war and treachery," as she sucks in the blood, "our son will be the stallion that mounts the world." Something to that effect. And I was like, is Ivar getting hard right now? And no. Oh my goodness. But I love Headley. Sounds like how stupid. Did Vikings move to Newfoundland yet? I don't think so yet. I wonder if they're going to do a story jump in that sense. Sounds like Harold is going to evade England. Whoa, you and Ross should combine for 50 views. I would love to. Rarst is amazing. Lots of love to Rarst. And anytime I get a chance to babble with her, I am always lucky as fuck. Funny ass motherfucker, that Rarst. So this is not the same intellectual, astute Ivar as last season. This is emotionally fucked up Ivar, and they gutted him a little bit because he had a little bit too much superpower going on. They had to gut his ass. I wonder how far they're going to take the Vikings. Will we get Leif Erikson on the show? Are they going that far? Or because they do a lot of weird time jumps. So I wouldn't be surprised if this story, I don't know, if the Ragnar Sons end sooner than later. I feel like Joe when I watch this program. Well, Joe's not here tonight, so Callie, I need someone like you in the live motherfucking chat to jump in with this shit. So the only hard thing Ivar has is those horns he wears in his head. I guess those could work. Yes, they could. So we have to go off to Heahmund, off to ex-bishop, going to the temple. And he goes there and he goes, listen, fucker, you took my job. And he immediately just starts screaming, listen, stop hugging me. I want to be king. I want my power back. Give me my power. Give me my office. And he whispers at him and he's like, listen, give me my job back or I will kill you. And then the dude basically says that, listen, what Alfred did with wanting to teach English is fucking horrible, and we should try to overthrow him and whatever. And Heahmund just kind of looks at him and goes, I'm going to kill you if you don't give up the power. And he eventually does. So we go back to Ironside's actor was the original Hunger Games. He is getting old. Ivar getting off on the side of blood. Remember his reaction to seeing Ailey being blood-eagled. So it's possible Ivar blood gets Ivar a little hard, but even though he can't ejaculate, maybe he's having sex with her and she's going off to supplement that. Again, they cut the sex scenes too early for us to find out what happens. If they give us, it's an example of where a little bit more graphic stuff would have been able to tell us a little bit more story. I wonder how far those scenes went in the international versions or if they cut at the same time. And yes, he was in the original Hunger Games. And yeah, his whole body changed too from then until now. He definitely looks the part of Bjorn Ironside at this point. So we go back into Iceland, and the people that want to kill Floki, whose names I won't learn. Okay, so the people that want to kill Floki, whose names I won't learn, look at dead crops, and some guy is like, you killed my brother, prepare to die, and we didn't kill him. I must admit, I don't care enough to write down the notes enough about this whole scene. I feel bad. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I got a drink. Maybe those scenes will be better after I drink. Calcio says Bjorn looks older than Lagertha. Pretty soon, Alfred's gonna look older than Judith too. It's amazing. Phil, what if Lagertha gets blood-eagled by Ivar? Oh my god, that'd be really terrible. It really would be, and it looks like next week, if we're to believe previews, which that seemed to be the scene that was hinted at in the preview for the season, which says we have Lagertha. So I doubt that they have her at that point, but who knows? It's hard for me to think that this show is that Lagertha can go on forever in the show. I tended to think that last half of the season was her last, but she's still going. Oh no, I'm definitely feeling the show now. I did not feel the bishop scenes in this episode. I'm not feeling the Iceland section. I didn't mean to sound so negative on the Iceland stuff. It's not that I'm not I just don't find it very useful. What I think worked about some of the stuff that I hope we don't see them for a long period of time. I think what worked about with some of the Wessex stuff that we got, or some of the stuff away from the Vikings, and I know Floki is a Viking and these are Vikings, that we went away from it for a while and came back. The fact that we've got 2 episodes in a row and it feels like the storyline isn't progressing at all kind of just feels like a waste of time. I would have rather that time, more time spent in Kattegat, or more time spent with Bjorn charming in a way, or connecting with the princess a little bit more, so it seemed less quickly rushed into, oh, I'm looking at you, so that means you have to have sex with me. It just was a little quick with that, and I think the time in Iceland in this episode could have been used in better parts in this episode. So that's why I sounded so bleh about that part, is I just feel like it was wasted scene time in this particular episode. Let's skip Iceland for a couple of episodes. As much as I love Floki, I just don't think we needed another scene to hear how the gods are abandoning Floki and the land sucks and these people are pissed off and they're on the edge of war, and we get it. We don't need it. We don't need it again. The Iceland thing is filler. That's what I'm thinking. And I guess that filler could have been used in better places this episode to make some of the other stuff be better. Maybe you've gotten that scene with Hitchcock and Ivar where he says, Marguerite's trying to kill her. Handle my business for me because I can't do it. I care about her too much, Ivar. And then it's another form of weakness from Hitchcock that puts another brick in the wall for Ivar against him. It's like, my brother's weak. Whatever. I mean, there's more time. Again, it's just time better used elsewhere, in my opinion. The young blonde who looks just like Ivar's young blonde. That was great casting. Ivar couldn't get hard with Marguerite. We don't know to be the case. Iceland thing is filler for sure. Could Freydis be the one sacrificed by Ivar as a fake of Lagertha? That could be it if Ivar is smart enough and he listens to his brother, or is just kind of playing into the moment to enjoy the moment, and ultimately comes to the realization that it's all lies. Michael Hirst doesn't want to write out Floki, so hence the Iceland thing, but beautiful shots, I must say. And Lady Dreamfire, I agree with that as well. Some of the most excellent visual aspects of this particular episode all came in the Iceland scenes. It's just a shame that if they're going to do this, they couldn't come up with something just a little bit more compelling, and it doesn't hold my interest, and who gives a fuck what I think. but ultimately, yeah, I just wish they were doing a little bit more there, or making us want it more, keeping it away from us, not give it to us every particular episode. It's been 7 episodes at a standstill in Iceland. It needs to take a turn to some direction. Phil, don't tread around it lightly. People like, you can say it, Phil. Iceland's fucking useless in this episode. M. Gonzalez, damn. Do you think that Marguerite was really killed, or was it a dream? I think that was real, dude. I think it was definitely real. They keep telling us how things are getting worse in Iceland, or instead of just getting to the killing. Yes, King McKay, 100% dude. Instead of just progressing that storyline, and it's not like Vikings doesn't do that. Vikings does that all the time. They progress something in the matter of an episode sometimes. But instead, as Blue Steel said, Blue Steel and King McKay are both correct in this part. It's been 7 episodes of almost feeling like a standstill there, and repeating themes of over and over in the same things. And I don't know if they're stalling because they only have 1 or 2 more beats that ends in Floki dying, and they're wasting time because they don't want to do that, and they want to keep Floki on the show as long as possible, so they're just spinning their wheels and treading water with it. And that's okay with me on some weird level because he's just so fucking good. But be a little bit more creative with it, because they keep telling, just get to the killing, get to the fucking energy in that scene, in that section, get to the Civil War, because we all know it's coming. Floki has an awesome laugh. Now he only whines. If Reddit is right, you're all going to rant like Joe Dirty Locks in a few episodes, says Callie Callie. Uh-oh. If people in Iceland ran into the White Walkers, John, I hope that's the outcome of that particular scene. Either that, or I hope... For some reason, I just got filled with the thought of people dancing around singing "The Hills Are Alive with the Sound of Music." Sorry, I'm getting used to the new room sounds. I'm like, I hear sounds all over the place. Someone's coming in to get me. So they ran into starvation. So starvation is a tough thing to depict on screen and make it exciting sometimes, unless they all go crazy and start ripping up each other, which I hope kind of goes in that direction. And I guess I feel if they are just amping it up, as like King McKay was saying, like, let's get to the killing here, like, and I couldn't agree with that more. But I think they're doing a shit job at building up the tension there. I don't think there's enough stakes because the only person that they've made us care about enough is Floki, and they haven't done enough of a job to make us care about any of those characters, or make me care about any of those characters. I don't trust Ivar's wife. She's going to become queen and take over, yo. Either that or Ivar is going to get smart and sacrifice her next week, as someone suggested. I think Mosquito Gonzalez is right. Sorry I called you Mosquito Gonzalez. I used to be in a band called Mosquito Gonzalez. So every time I see you in the live chat, M. Gonzalez, I think of my band. Ivar's wife is hot. There's no argument from me, Brian. Floki goes to the Donner Party. The Vikings. Everyone's cheating. It's Fuckfest 97 going on there. So back in Iceland, people want to kill Floki. Yada, 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 yada. Then we go to Ivar's wife with some random dude, and she rides him fast. And that's how she's going to get pregnant. Then we see the bishop. Then we see Heahmund greeting Lagertha, but he's like, no, don't talk to me there. And then probably the worst scene in the episode, when they're fake talking while working at the stand, and they're pretending not to talk. Again, the bishop stuff was probably my least favorite part of the episode, and this was a little bit more of the beginning of it, where they have it just came off as kind of cheesy television at some point, where they're, yes, and no one notices that we're talking, right, guys? You guys don't. Hi, yeah. No one knows that I'm doing a podcast right now, right? They think I'm watching TV. Right? They don't know. Worf doesn't know, right? Yeah, Worf doesn't know that we're talking. It was like a cheesy cliche kind of television. It was a little too cheesy cliche television in that one moment right there. Whatever. Freitas is gorgeous. Too hot for Ivar. Again, no argument from me. Freitas is definitely extremely gorgeous. Then what's next? Sorry. Okay, so then he tells her about that they want to kill the king, that the church wants to kill the king. So then we see someone arriving to meet Judith, and it's possibly Alfred's possible wife. And then we get Bjorn talking shit to Alfred, and they bring out the paper with the legal rights to the land. And they go, listen, we have rights to this land. And Ubbe's there too, and he's like, and Alfred explains to them, honestly, this was probably my favorite scene of the episode. I like how Alfred plays them. He plays them with a very interesting tactic by telling them the truth about something to use it as a way of embedding trust. I think it worked with Ubbe. It didn't work with Bjorn. Bjorn's too pissed off about it, where Ubbe looks at it and is like, whoa, this guy didn't need to tell us the truth. So I kind of like the scene, and I, like I said, really liked Alfred in this episode. I thought he was an effective character. He was believable in that role, being trained by King, why am I blanking on his name right now? His grandfather. They even said his name in the episode. I'm blanking on his name. Someone will say it in the live chat in a second here. For sure, Callie. Ivar ain't letting anyone take over. If he's willing to kill his own brothers, he's not gonna. Yeah, he wouldn't give a shit about killing her. I agree. I can grow a respectable beard. You're a good looking sir. Grow a respectable beard. I usually do. Paul Q in the live motherfucking chat. He's probably going to wait for Freitas to have the baby and then kill her. Yes, I could see that happening because he wants a son. He's loving that. Not Applewolf. Applewolf's dad. Like, why am I blanking on Applewolf's dad? He gets mentioned like 15 times in this episode. So I have them in the notes somewhere. So Alfred says, I'm going to be honest with you. When Egbert, I couldn't think of Egbert's name for some reason. When Egbert signed all that shit for you, he really wasn't king. He gave the king to Applewolf at that point. So it was kind of bullshit. But I'm telling you, and I'll honor his words. I'll totally honor his words. My granddad might have trained me in all the arts of deception and everything, but you can totally trust me, and I will be on your side, and I'll give you the land if you fight on my side first. Hey, JC Riley in the live motherfucking chat. All king. Hail to King Riley in the live chat, or King Ivar, but I'm going to call you King Riley. Day after or 2 days after. I lose track of days of your birthday. So happy belated birthday to the one and only JC Riley, JC Sargent. What else we got here? Taka, my brother from another mother, the one and only JC motherfucker. John C. Riley, star of Step Brothers. Who is the guy who made his debut on ER? Clooney? No. Hello, Santovia Major. Yes. I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the motherfucking chat here. Alfred, I am honest with you. Okay, so Alfred uses his honesty. We got the motherfucking Taka in the live chat. There's more too. I want there's probably one more too. Oh my goodness. Alfred says, "I'm honest with you. Don't. I'm gonna be on your side, buddy. I'm gonna have your back. I learned everything I need to learn from my king, and I'm not gonna leave you alone." So then we go to the bedding ceremony. I mean, Alfred meeting his future princess, and Lagertha and Bjorn are there because they're there. And we see Heahmund. He is shaken from this whole situation. Alfred tries to make conversation, and they just have no chemistry. And my dad saved your dad's life, and he sacrificed himself. Isn't that really awesome? Yeah, it's really awesome. It's really great. Wait, who's that guy over there? Who's that hot dude over there that's staring at me? Oh, I like him. Well, that's Bjorn Ironside. I've heard a lot about Bjorn Ironside. Can you introduce me? She doesn't say, can you introduce me, but. And they stop that shit show. Excuse me, right there. Excuse me, that was gross. So we find out that Ubbe and Torby are showing off, and the princess is amazing, and she wants to see the legendary field maiden. And her number one is just this asshole. This guy is just like, yeah, fuck these. Fuck the king. Fuck these people. Fuck these women that fight. Fuck everybody. They're all awful people. Piece of shit. So he's giving her kind of creepy stuff. She's like, I have an opinion. Well, if you must have a stupid opinion, share your opinion then. Okay. So we go off to Heahmund and Lagertha kissing in the woods, and some dude followed them and he's spying on them. What is this? Are they making out at the quad after football practice and they're being caught? Whatever. So King Egbert, thank you. On ER, he was an EMT. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. Keep it going. Do I have any more names? I think there are more names I'm messing up on. I think I should know a few more right here. Why is Alfred willing to give the land to the Vikings if they fight for them? There's only 6 of them. He's not. There is a 0% chance, I think. And people are like, I know history. He totally did. But I'm saying from what I'm picking up in the show, it's just all manipulation. He's not going to give that. And if he does, it's going to be to the one who he's completely manipulating, like the Kingpin. He's not giving shit to the Vikings. He's not just giving it to them. Yeah, hell yeah, she got wet when she saw Bjorn. He will give them an acre and a hut. Ivar deserves what he gets if his character's really that stupid. I want Freitas to rule him like a tyrant. One-eyed snitch. Yeah, I don't think Ivar is actually going to give that to them. Excuse me. Ouchie. So we go off to Heahmund and Lagertha kissing in the woods, and the dude watches them. Then we go to Alfred and Ubbe, and he looks surprised, and Ubbe's like, you wanted to see me, and you want some wine? But Ubbe doesn't drink the wine. And then Alfred's like, listen, Bjorn hates me, but what can you and I do to become friends. And he says, I want you two to become Christians. Or I want you to become Christians. And he goes, Bjorn wouldn't do that. He goes, I'm not asking about Bjorn. I'm asking about you. Listen, you're the most like Ragnar. I talked to Ragnar, and Ragnar said X, Y, and Z. And I talked to my granddad, and my granddad said X, Y, and Z. He said Ragnar was perfect except for this one thing, that you could solve the problem that Ragnar solved. He didn't believe in your gods anyway, so why don't you come to my side? Come on. So then we go to Ivar in bed, and she comes running in and says, I'm with child, Ivar. Yeah. And at first, I thought this was real and ends up being a dream, but it's a dream of something that actually already happened. So they used it as a way of telling us something and as a dream sequence combined. And I thought this was really effective, the way they did this scene. I was dumb enough to believe that Ivar was getting killed right here. I was like, holy shit. Did Ivar just die in this episode? And yeah, I know he really was. I knew there was I knew it wasn't the case, but in the moment I was like, holy shit, what just happened? What just happened? Is he going to pull the knife out and like stab her right now? Because I didn't think he was going to die, but I'm like, is this real? Because usually I don't know, it's just done pretty well. And Ivar is in bed. She comes in, says, I'm pregnant. And then stabs him right in the chest. And then Ivar smiles as he falls down dead, but it's all a dream. He wakes up and he runs to find his brother and Hitsuck and Finehair sitting there, and he goes, and then he just gets into aggro Ivar mode. I tried to say aggro Ivar mode, where he's just like, King Finehair, why the fuck are you here? The only reason you're here is to overthrow me. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of my house or overthrow me so I can kill you. No. I'm just hanging out. Shut the fuck up, Ivar. Okay. Oh yeah, you, Hitsuck. You gotta kill Marguerite. What the fuck's she alive for? She's gonna kill us all. Kill her. And Finehair's gonna end up going to raid, and we'll see what happens. We see a hooded figure walking down the hallway, and it's a dude, and it says Lagertha, or in it, the dude telling to the bishop, saying he's watching the bishop and Lagertha hook up again. He's like cupping her boob, and he watched it. So then we see Alfred apologizing for not getting to know her more, or talking to his future wife and saying, listen, do you like want to get married? And she says, I don't know. Maybe. And he goes, well, I got more important things to do. Talk to you later. And then she immediately walks over in front of everybody and talks to Bjorn. And Bjorn comes up to her and she's like, go away. And he goes, why? He goes, okay, if you want me to. And this is his big play. He's like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah. You want me yet? I said, do you want me yet? That's Bjorn's big game. I love it. Paul Q doesn't even watch the show. He's still here. They make Ivar look weak in the show, but at the end, he looked badass. It was only a dream. What the hell is this, Dallas? His name is Don Lowe. Great actor. Is a really awesome actor. He's the best part of Gotham. He was awesome in Sons of Anarchy in his brief role on that show. He's always one of the best things on the show. Realistically, do you think those crazy religious fanatics will allow a bunch of pagan beasts to run amok in the castle? Some bullshit right there, Phil. Did Ivar inherit the ability to have visions like his mama? Possibly, Santovia. That's what I was thinking too. And that might get him to the point of realizing that his girl is fucking with him. Ragnar had visions too. Bjorn, you steal my land, I steal your girl, says Katie Kova. It looks like Hitsuck was the one that killed Marguerite. Okay, Mosquito. Gonzalez, I need to watch the scene again. I thought they were guards, but I guess one of the guards could have been Hitsuck. I'd have to rewatch it. To me, it looked like masked guards, but very well, he could have been one of them. That Peeping Tom guy looked like the cricket from Always. I think it might have been. Ivar is having his Jean Grey dreams. No legs equals visions. This is known. It is known. So she heads over to Bjorn, and Bjorn's like comes up on her. She says, "Go away," but she kind of liked it. And they cut to them alone. Okay, what happened in between then and what happened after that point? She smiles, and that's enough. Bjorn, how bad does Bjorn actually smell too? He's probably forget it. So they cut and they're alone. He checks her out. He kind of gives her a one-up and kisses her, and she likes it, and they head off. So we go to that rat guy who actually says, for the first time I've ever heard in anywhere, refers to sex as the beast with two backs. I mean, I know that's a thing, and I know it's been referred to that a billion times. In fact, Futurama movies call it the beast with two backs, I believe. So I've heard the term before. I've just never heard it used contextually before. So it was just interesting. So he's like, yep, the priest is doing the beast with two backs and fucking the pagan girl. And then the bishop says, I got to write him a letter and tell him there. So then we go to the snowy woods and we head into a cabin with Marguerite. She's crying. And Hitzak goes there to comfort her, and she says, listen, I saw Freda, she has a baby, and Ivar can't even have kids. What the fuck? Ubbe, that bitch Torvi, blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, listen, we need to kill Ivar. He will kill you. Kill Ivar, marry, I'll be queen. You got to do it. I'm not mad. You know I'm right. And Hitzak's like, yep, you're right. Whatever. He says goodnight to her, and she sings some creepy song. So then we go to pre-sex time we get to see what Bjorn's foreplay is. He's like, ugh, come here. Gods will punish me if I have sex. Well, my gods won't punish you. Okay, that's enough foreplay for me. And she gets in the bed, and they start doing their thing. So then we go after Marguerite, and all these guards around her, and possibly Hitzak too was there. I did not see him, but I'm fully aware he could have been there. And she tries to run, but she gets a knife thrown in her, and then they throw another knife, and she's like, please don't kill me. I'm harmless. Like, I love Ivar. He's totally the best. And someone sneaks up behind her and says, the Lannisters send their regards, and they slice her neck. So Heahmund gets this letter about his fornication with the pagan, with the woman with a pair of huge sins. And he gets so pissed. He takes this letter. He rides his horse to the church. He gets into the bishop dude's face, and then we have a fight. And it's almost a fight is not a 1-for-1, but it reminded me a lot of the Lord of the Rings and of the first fight, or the only fight, between Gandalf and Saruman. When it's just sort of cut, and they're just like throwing each other around. They're just bouncing around the room randomly. But whatever, they get into a fight, and Bishop shows up there and starts mugging for the camera, throws his knife down. He's just like, I'm going to kill you right now. He takes out his knife, and Ed goes there, and he says, you're a danger to my king, the hypocrisy. And he takes the guy ends up taking a swipe at him, or the real bishop takes a swipe at Heahmund, and he tosses him around, and he kills him, and he stabs him in the eye, and blood splatters all over his face, and the dude falls down, and he prays, and then that's the end of the episode. Next week's episode, we have a sacrifice, and that's our episode of Vikings. I thought that was a fun, comical ending. I was laughing my ass off at the end of that episode. I can't lie. I straight up was just... Oh my goodness. That was my reaction. And I think at some points in Vikings can be over the top and crazy. Blood eagles and all such. But this was a little too... It was almost... He almost kung fu'd the kill, where he's like... It was a bit too much, so it took away some of the bite of it, but it happened. He wasn't my favorite part of the episode, but it was still a decent episode of Vikings. Not one of my favorite in season 5, but not every episode can be the best episode of a show. And not every episode. If every episode was my favorite, I wouldn't know what the fuck. I'd just be out there. Everything is decent, very decent, and very decent. But no, certain people are going to like certain episodes of television shows more than others. And this episode wasn't my favorite, but still a good episode of Vikings. Can't wait to get the next week, talk about next week's episode. But before I go, let's take a few more live motherfucking chats. Let's jump in the live motherfucking chat. Scroll through. Oh, he probably stinks like I don't know what, says Lady Dreamfire. I think the beast with two backs is probably doggy style. Yeah, but when you're about to get murdered by your psycho brother, you make deals with the devil. I'm Irish. I don't trust the English. No, it's missionary. One back as a back, another back on opposite sides. Thank you, Blue Steel. I love how we're learning here on this podcast tonight. More than 1 minute means you're doing it wrong. Is Egbert still alive like Dilbert? I purchased the daily papers, but I'm a freaking goof. No, Egbert died shortly after Ragnar. He drowned himself, I believe. In a Heahmund, you're to the new bishop. Ever hear of Mo Green? Mo Green built this town. Icy Fury. Yo, but what about that stab in the eye? Yeah, the stab in the eye was fucking good. Visually, that was fun. Made me laugh my ass off. Was over the top in all the best way. That shit I don't mind. You know, Vikings has always done that kind of stuff in the battle scenes and the action moments. It was funny for me. I laughed at it. I can't lie. I totally laughed. Lagertha better never break up with him. Not Heahmund. Now Heahmund is a fugitive and an outlaw bishop. No, he'll just kill anybody that steps in his way. No, because the king has his side. He's just going to say that this person was a threat to the king. And the king will assign him as his liaison or whatever. Heahmund is the best Chris Tucker voice. Who's the bishop now, motherfucker? Woo, this is Ruby Rod. Who's the bishop now, motherfucker? That's going to hurt in the morning. Reactions are the 56-year-old prosciuttos. Is Vikings more over the top than Sons? No, I don't think so. I think Sons embraces that a little bit more. Vikings is a little bit more dreamy and weird sometimes than Sons gets. But Sons is over the top. Sons is pulpy. Almost an action movie at times. Poor Phil. Thanks for watching these shows I no longer watch. Your reviews are entertaining. Callie, thank you so much. And thank you to everyone tonight. I'm playing a little injured tonight, so I appreciate everyone joining me tonight for this silliness. I'm rooting for Mama's boy, Alfred. I think a lot of us are rooting for Alfred at this point. John Stern, I love you, motherfucker. If you're going to blackmail somebody, why don't you write them a letter telling them all... Why do you write him a letter telling them all about him? Just to piss them off so they can ride. And I just thought, again, that was a little television too. He gets the letter, he reads the letter, he's like, I'm going to go kill this guy. He just rides off and kills this guy. Why did he write him that letter? Why didn't he just report him? Like, come on. So, everybody. I knew what you meant, Icy Fury. I guess this is as good a time as any to cut this podcast. Let's see. I will be back soon. I'll try to be on Sunday evening for something. I'm not sure what we're going to do on Sunday evening, but we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up soon on the channel. And next week we'll be back for Vikings, hopefully with Joe Dirty Locks. If not, we do have might have a few guests along the way this season at times. Hashtag Team Torvey. I got my Viking Pride hat on right now. Show your Viking Pride, everybody. So, also show your pride for the live motherfucking chat. I have to say a huge thank you to anyone new that's with us this evening. Some new voices. She gave, wrote you a letter. I gotta write you a letter. Phil shaved because someone dropped a dime. Paul Q. And, where the fuck is Torvey? Mo Green runs Las Vegas. He was running Las Vegas when you were still in diapers, Paul Q. Don't mess with Mo Green. Or his lackey Hyman Roth with his Sicilian messenger boy, Junior Soprano. Phil, we need a Night Flyers podcast. I missed that Dirty Locks tonight. Me too. Dirty Locks went radio silence tonight. I talked to him this morning. He was supposed to be here. I assume he slept through the episode. But, by the way, Phil, thanks for sending positive vibes your way. By the way, thank you to the live motherfucking chat. I'm trying to be clean shaven too. It's tough. I agree. I never want to shave. I actually did shave because of work. I had to work yesterday, so I have to shave for the next week or so for a particular job I'm doing. But, and then afterwards, over the winter, I want to grow a a pre-Game of Thrones beard. In frustration for April. I'll probably only last a month, and I'll be like, I gotta get this fucking thing off my face. But either way, I want to attempt to grow a full beard, not when I like shave the sides, and see how much of it, see how close to Santa Claus I am. So we can do a pool on how long till I get the Santa Claus beard. It's tough. Did you go over the preview for next week? Basically, for the preview for next week, we see that Ivar is sacrificing somebody. I didn't take great notes for the preview, but I do. It seems like Ivar is talking about how he needs to sacrifice somebody, and he has somebody that he's bringing in, that somebody that has a lot of attention on them. So who could that character be? I doubt it will be anyone from Wessex. So there's a chance it could be Ivar's wife, as someone suggested, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where they go next week. Next week it looks like a really good episode of Vikings, at least according to the preview, so I cannot fucking wait. Phil, you're wearing a hat, not a man bun tonight. I know I did promise the next time I do a podcast to do the man bun. So what the fuck kind of asshole am I that I don't keep my promises? Wait, let me. I don't even know how to do it. I so never do a man bun. So I don't even know how to do it. Okay, is that a man bun? Is that did I bun my hair? Am I keeping my word? Ivar will sacrifice his baby's daddy. Oh, that's very possible too that he finds that out. A month you would be a token dwarf. No, probably. If I grew my beard for a month, it would be ridiculously long. It would be disgusting. But let's see how long it can go. Starting next Wednesday. I will be probably, for whatever it's worth, I'll be clean shaven probably next Wednesday too. And then from that point on, I'll see how long I can grow a beard. Close enough. Yeah, it's close enough. It's a man almost bun. Close enough. Close enough, motherfuckers. So, motherfucking chat, thank you so much for joining me. If you like this, if you haven't already, please like this video. Please hit the subscribe button. Share the channel with a friend. Huge thanks to our super chat donators. You guys are fucking awesome. Nancy T, I owe you a drum solo. And Callie, I owe you a spin of the wheel. Callie, let me do this right now. Oh no! Callie, what's going on? Oh no! I got a drink. Oh goodness. Am I going to do some Game of Thrones theory videos? I wouldn't say theory videos, probably more preview type videos. But I will definitely take requests if anyone has any stuff. I'll do some more predictions and more hype for the season when things start going. Joe Dirty Locks and I, as soon as Joe gets a little bit more locked in, have a Game of Thrones podcast that we'll be doing very soon. We're going to do recaps or a little on each character that's alive. And we did a couple at the beginning, but ran into some problems. So we're going to do what Joe and I always do, which is cheat a little bit and do a big podcast on all the characters we haven't gotten to yet and where we think they're going by the end of the season. So that's probably our first of our Game of Thrones stuff. Expect that either at the very end of the year or at the beginning of January as we're going to start talking about Game of Thrones once we're in the same year of it. But we might talk about something at the end of December as well. So expect some Game of Thrones stuff coming very soon, sometime in the next month or so. And then steadily until April as we get back into it. And then we're going to try to at least do at least one weekly Game of Thrones thing from when we start to talking Game of Thrones until April. We'll do at least one thing, maybe some more songs, silly parody songs if they come up naturally, and bring some of our friends back over. And I'm also going to be on a couple of other channels here and there for Game of Thrones stuff. I got asked this week to be on a video So that's going to be a lot of fun. And so, yeah, so look for me out in a couple other places babbling about some Game of Thrones. It's about time to get back into it. So, yep, if you enjoy our Game of Thrones stuff, it's coming back very soon. So, everyone, talk to you guys soon. I know the wheel is so far away. I need to move the wheel closer. Much closer. Please watch Discovery of Witches when it comes to America. Pretty please. Ooh, boat sex too. We need some boat sex. We need more boat sex. Or at least a live version of boat sex. Where we're dressed up in cosplay. Where I dress up like Jon Snow and Stephanie dresses up like Dany. And we sing the song to each other. That could be part. That could be fun. Talk to you guys next time. Katie, amazing. Thank you tonight, Santovia, IC Fury, M. Gonzalez, Lady, Dreamfire, IC Fury, Callie, Santovia Major, John Stern, Paul Q. Oh my God, buddy. Love you guys. Talk to you next time.